The vote was, coincidentally, final score of the playoff game between the Eagles and the Packers, 22-10. The final vote for the Tush Push was 22-10. And the key is 24-8 would have been enough to carry it over the goal line, literally and figuratively. 22-10 fail. So, Chris, here's the bottom line. They're 2 votes short. And somebody asked me yesterday, why did they not just withdraw this if they knew it was going to lose? I talked to some people who know what happened.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, they didn't know.
They didn't know it was going to lose.
Right.
And I think there's a point where after you devote so much time and effort to the discussion and the debate, you don't just stop the process. You have to let it finish. And I think it's kind of a visceral, you know it when you see it kind of a thing. But when Jeffrey Lurie speaks for an hour, when you bring in Jason Kelsey to speak to the owners, there's a critical mass that you reach at some point where we just have to see this out. And I don't think anybody knew. I don't think the Eagles knew. I don't think the league knew. One thing we do know, though, now, and we suspected this all along, PFT reported it in the aftermath of the vote, this wasn't a Packers idea.
Right.
This wasn't Mark Murphy and Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur sitting around one day saying, what should we do about that Tush Push? They should ban it. Let's draft a proposal to ban it, and let's just see what happens, right? Yeah, the NFL usually makes rules through a competition committee, and there's a process of, discussion and debate and refinement. Now, let's just put a proposal together, and let's just see if it flies. That's not what happened, folks. They want you to think that's what happened. And I first had this idea when Rod Wood, the Lions president, confusingly admitted that the league approached them about partnering up on a proposal to reseed the playoffs because that's what the league office wanted. See, there's a weird new avenue that the league has created where they want something, but they don't want us to know that they want something. So they go out and find a guinea pig to be the one to officially make the request. And there's something about it that I don't like because it makes it feel like it's backroom, it's hidden, it's secret, it's not transparent, it's not authentic. And we reported yesterday the same thing that happened to the Lions happened to the Packers. The league sought them out to be the team to carry the flag against the Tush Push. And I don't know what the quid pro quo was. Maybe it was for future considerations. Maybe it was a thank you for getting the draft. I don't know. But the Packers took one for the team, got used by the league, and now the Packers are the ones who carry the public embarrassment for this thing losing, even though it was the league office that was behind it.
Yeah, I don't understand the league's logic behind that necessarily either. I don't know what that's all about.
They don't want to make it look like they're anti-Eagles. They're not playing favorites.
I guess
they don't want their fingerprints on this.
I guess so. I mean, you create maybe divisions between the teams and owners that way, which I don't know if is always the best thing that way. But, yeah, I think you're probably right. That's the reason. They don't want to look like it's them versus one team picking on them that way. And they just want to get somebody to put it out there to start the conversation altogether. I think to your point, and the thing that I found the most fascinating about it was just that they didn't know where it was going to go. The vote, they didn't. I mean, usually they know if it's not going to pass, they table it because they don't want to look silly or whatever. Or we'll talk about it or forget about it, whatever it may be. But yeah, they obviously were on the fence about these last few votes and where it might go. And I'm glad it stayed. I am. And I think what you see, too, after the fact, again, is just that there's a huge faction, especially coaches and GMs, that I think are just, they look at it and go, wait, like this isn't fair. This isn't right. We can do this play, too, right? The reason they're good at this play is because they have the best players. That's why, period. It's the best offensive line we've seen in the last 30 years in the NFL. Like we talked about a million times at the end of the regular season, whatever. It's like the 90s Cowboys. That's how good they are. They run like 3 run plays, and their running back still runs for 2,000 yards. That's how awesome they are. So that's what it's about, and it's good to see, and it seems like some of the old school coaches, Vrabel, Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, all the people that we kind of talked about yesterday leading up to this and that we've interviewed before, that we got the sense where they were like, what? Like, we're not going to ban this because what? They're successful and we haven't been able to stop it yet? We're going to figure it out. It was hard to stop Lamar Jackson on RPOs forever, too. We didn't cancel that out of the game. Be like, whoa, right? We heard that. Or it was hard to stop Mahomes with the sidearm throws, and we had fun with Sirianni. I'm just glad that it didn't pass. That's the bottom line.
Well, but Chris,
yeah,
they now know because there was a vote.
Yep.
And everybody had to go on the record.
Right.
And they were 2 votes short of getting rid of it. They're going to regroup. They're going to reconfigure. And they got 9-10 months to twist arms, to do deals, to make threats. And I'm not saying they're going to make threats, but look, I remember a couple of years ago when the commissioner wanted to have the power to flex to Thursday nights. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
They did it in May.
Right.
John Mara was persona non grata because he spoke out against it. It's unfair to the fans. After that happened, when they tabled it from March to May, and the commissioner ultimately got what he wanted in May, but he was short of the mark in March. The schedule came out in the interim, and a grossly disproportionately high number of teams that were against the Thursday night flex ended up with 2 Sunday-Thursday games that year.
Right. I remember
and
that.
It was noticed, and it was raised with me by at least one of the teams that feel like they were retaliated against because they were against what the commissioner wanted. That's a real thing. And again, in the spirit of Jim Irsay, and I feel bad about what I said earlier about Jason Kelsey, but in the spirit of Jim Irsay, I'm going to embrace authenticity, and let's be real, and let's tell the truth, and let's be who we are here. I think, based upon what I've seen and what I've heard over the years, that the teams that voted against this are going to have to watch their backs now. They're going to have to worry about where the retribution may come because the commissioner is going to be upset with them. And they've all experienced, or at least witnessed, maybe it wasn't directed at them, but when a commissioner gets upset, you may have a problem.
No,
and
we know
he
that.
adopts a certain demeanor when he's upset.
No,
and he may be looking for some butts, to quote a movie that came out some 39 years ago.
Right.
When they buzz the tower, he's upset.
Yes. No, they're famous for...
And I'm saying it somewhat facetiously, but also seriously.
Right.
The 10 teams that are on the record against this proposal, they're going to try to twist the arms of at least 2 of them. They're going to identify the 2 that they think they can twist, and they're going to twist. And it's going to be back next year. And you know what also I believe is going to be part of the equation next year? They're going to have data next year. They're going to have data.
Right.
Somebody's going to have data to support that it's an injury risk.
Yeah.
Whether it's real, whether it's embellished, whether it's fabricated, there's going to be data because that became the big issue. Well, it's not that it has been an injury issue. It could be. It could be. And Jeffrey Lurie turned it on his head yesterday by saying, if you ban this, you're creating the injury issue. You're responsible for what happens to our quarterbacks if you ban this. And I think both, it's like 2 sides of the same BS coin that cancel each other out. But that's the best way to fight. I'm not saying the best way to fight bullcrap is with more bullcrap. I don't agree with that. I think you fight bullcrap with the truth. I don't believe that you make the game less safe by removing it. I don't think you make the game more safe by keeping it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no.
But I think that it was a very disingenuous at best, flat out false at worst effort to take this thing down by making it into a safety issue that it's not.
No, I would agree. They were pulling from any avenue possible to try to get negative publicity around this and get a groundswell to stop it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.